My name is Ben Azoulay, known as King Azoulay.
No, I'm drifting, catch you slipping, won't be back again.
We know what we want in life, we go out there and we get it.
Roll the riches, lot of fishes, so we throwing nets. Hiking, shipping, magic, yeah, we back again.
What's going on, guys? King Azoulay here with the first podcast. I wanted to make sure that I could educate people, and a lot of the young guys are doing a lot of things that they shouldn't. Now, I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor. I don't recommend ever touching steroids, but if you ever do, at least let me explain to you what it could do to you. Positive, but mostly negative. And I want to make sure that all the young guys out there don't end up doing this, because this is something that they shouldn't do. This is something that nobody should put their hands on until it's necessary, or unless they're going to become a professional bodybuilder towards being Mr. Olympia. So let's get this show started. Mr. Phil, what's going on, brother?
What's up, bro?
You've been asking for this. Everybody's been asking for this. Honestly, after many years of realizing that so many people at the gym don't know what they're doing or why they're even doing it. What questions do you have for me? And how can I educate the youth to make sure that they don't do something that they definitely shouldn't be doing?
I'm going to start with a very broad question, actually. So a lot of people, especially in the gym, they're on some sort of PEDs, SARMs, androgens, some sort of steroids.
Right.
A lot of them, they don't look like it, though.
Right.
Why?
Okay.
Why do they look like shit?
Let's start with the first things first. People believe that taking steroids or taking peptides, a lot of people don't really know about peptides. They only know about steroids. But they don't know what they're doing, and they believe that if they take it, they're gonna get big, they're gonna get shredded, and they're gonna look like me or Mr. Olympia. They think they're gonna take gear for 3 months and they're gonna look like C-Bum. Doesn't work that way. It's first of all, the kitchen and the food. Because no matter how much oil you're gonna shove in your body, if you're not eating food, and I'm sorry guys that I say this, but not sorry, oxygen does not hold any calories. So if you think that you're not gonna eat and you're gonna just breathe and out of nowhere you're gonna grow and look great, that doesn't work. Does that explain that to you?
Makes sense? So why did you initially take anything? What was the first thing you ever took? How old were you?
So I'll be honest with you, I don't know what I first took.
Damn.
I was a young kid. I was 15 or 16 years old. I was already training, I was buff. I'll show you guys a picture of me when I was 8, and you could post that. I was training, I was in martial arts, I was buff, and my buddies were all much older than me. My buddy who was like 10 years older than me was like, hey bro, we're going to a party. Let me get you some more, I'm gonna get you pumped right now. I got this thing that's gonna make you so pumped and you're gonna feel great. I go, what is it? He goes, don't worry, it's gonna make you feel great. I'm like, okay, is it a pill? He's like, no, it's an injection. I'm like, where do you inject it? He's like, in your ass, where else? I'm like, I never heard of steroids before. I didn't know they existed. And I believe he gave me testosterone. Now, he gave me an injection, and that was it. And then I told him later on, I'm like, I didn't feel anything from that, except my ass hurts. So he was like, oh yeah, sometimes it takes a few. I was like, no, I'm good. So that was like the first time I got injected.
You didn't feel anything?
I didn't feel anything, no, because you're supposed to take it really it takes you about 6 to 8 weeks to start getting the feeling of what you're feeling when you're taking steroids. Now, again, guys, steroids are the last resort you want to go to. And through this podcast, I will explain to you exactly why. As I'm educating you guys, not recommending, just educating. Because I also don't do steroids today. And I'm going to tell you guys exactly the amount of times that I've done it. And I stay away from it because for me personally, there's no need. If I'm going to train, but I'm not going to be Mr. Olympia, you don't need to take steroids to be big. Phil, how much do you weigh?
250?
Okay. How tall are you?
6'1", 6'2".
Okay. There's days that you even look taller.
Yeah, it's the shoes.
Yes.
Depends.
So he stands at 6'2" and he's 250 pounds. How old are you?
22.
22 years old. For me, if I wanted to be 250 pounds, although I stand at around 6 feet tall, I don't know how I would do it because I'm supposed to be a skinny guy. But for me, being at 200 pounds, let's say, that's like my place. That's my favorite place to be. When I shove food, I could get up to 215. That's like my spot, but that's me shoving down food. And after about 3 months, I'll gain up from 200 to 215, which is where I'm at right now. But that's eating 67 meals a day, drinking 1.5 gallons of water a day. And sometimes I'll take, like, for instance, I take growth hormone, and that's something that I've been taking for a while. But growth, you don't feel it. It just helps you. It's almost reverse aging. It helps you tighten up the skin. It helps with your hair. Your nails will grow faster. Like you feel kind of better, but not really. You don't feel it like a steroid. So steroids inflate your muscle. Growth hormone will grow muscle cells on your muscles. Mm-hmm. But it takes it a very long time. Now you need to do a large amount of it, and then you could also grow the intestines in the body. Like the heart will grow, some guys, their chin will grow. I do only 2 IUs a day, which is pretty much just to reverse aging.
So that's a healthy amount.
It's a healthy amount.
Okay.
The president of the United States does 2 IUs a day.
So if I take more than 2 IUs a day, will my dick get bigger?
No. And by the way, a lot of people ask questions about a dick. They say, oh, if you take steroids, your dick will shrink. Actually, the opposite. When you take steroids, it creates blood flow to the body. Any area that you're training, right? A dick does not have a muscle, but it's a bunch of blood getting to that area, right? That's how it deflates and inflates.
So you get pumps.
You get pumps. Now taking steroids, you get extra pumped. And you could, first of all, when your testosterone level goes up, you want to have more sexual interaction. Like, depends how much you're taking, you want to do more and more and more.
So you're getting hornier, so you're having more boners anyways.
More boners anyways. Anyways, men have about 11 boners a night without them even knowing. There's always the movement of blood in that area. But when you're doing steroids, you're driving more blood into that area. Just like taking Cialis, you're driving blood into the area. It's not Viagra. Cialis works on targeting an area that you're moving blood towards. Now, if you do steroids, you will realize that your penis is actually growing a little bit larger, like thicker. Not longer, but thicker. Like the girth of it will be thicker. And the more you're into the girl, or into the man, whatever it is, she or he will definitely notice the difference.
So you notice a difference?
Do I notice a difference?
When you're on versus off?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, when I'm on testosterone, I take more than I produce. Naturally, I'm at about 800 to 1,000 milligrams a week, naturally.
But is it an actual difference? Or is it just in your head? Do you think there's a difference?
Oh, it's an actual difference.
Okay.
And the difference is this. So if, I wasn't going to talk about it, but I have a good sized penis. If you have a big dick.
Above average.
Yeah, so average is like 5 inch, I think.
You've measured your dick?
My dick is 9.25.
You've measured it?
I've measured it.
With a ruler?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the length of exactly the Gillette gel cream that you wipe you shave with.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same size, almost the same girth.
Now is that on gear or off gear?
That's off gear.
So on gear.
On gear, it gets even more intense. But I have to be, really interested in the woman.
Okay.
So on gear, it's more intense and it stays harder. Like the hard part stays longer. Like you're just hard.